So I wanted to talk about Pit's Final Smash in Smash Bros. Because when it comes to a Final Smash in Smash Bros., it's usually something that highlights the significance of that said character. Like if I were to give a few examples, we have Pikachu with Volt Tackle, and Volt Tackle is actually a signature move of the Pikachu line in the Pokemon games. So it makes a lot of sense for that move to be its final smash. And then, of course, when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, whenever he gets the Chaos Emeralds, he turned into Super Sonic. So it's like when it comes to Pit and Kid Icarus, one of the things that was very important that was with the character ever since the very beginning was the three sacred treasures. It's something that you usually got towards the end of the game when you were going up against Medusa or any other boss. It's just always been a key part of the character. And I just wasn't the biggest fan that they actually changed that in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like, I really wish instead of what we got, we just kept the three sacred treasures, because it just made a lot of sense due to the legacy behind Kid Icarus and why it's there to begin with. And I basically just want to share my thoughts on this so you guys have a better understanding of where I'm coming from with all of this. So let's just dive straight into this so you guys understand exactly where I'm coming from. So one of the biggest reasons I wanted to make this video is because I've honestly never been the biggest fan of Pit having Lightning Chariot as his final smash. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think the move is bad or anything like that, because it still looks cool seeing Pit jump into the chariot and aim at everybody on the screen. But at the same time, I've always felt like the three sacred treasures represent Pit way better overall. Whenever Super Smash Bros. 4 gave Pit that final smash, it honestly felt like the perfect choice for the character. The reason why I feel this way is because the three sacred treasures are such an important part of the Kid Icarus franchise. That's something people immediately connect to Pit and the overall series. It reminds me a lot of how Link had the Master Sword in Zelda. Once you reach those big moments near the end of the game, those weapons feel important to the character. That's exactly how I've always looked at the three sacred treasures when it comes to Pit. I also think the three sacred treasures just felt more fitting for Smash Bros. Overall. It really felt like Smash was properly representing the legacy of Kid Icarus instead of mainly focusing on one thing from Uprising. Because even though Lightning Chariot came from Uprising, I just personally don't think it has the same level of importance compared to the sacred treasures themselves. Those have been tied to the series ever since the beginning. Another thing I kept thinking about is that even if they didn't want to bring back the original three sacred treasures exactly the same way, I still think that they had better options than Lightning Chariot. One thing I thought about that could have been really cool was using the Great Sacred Treasure from the Hades fight in Kid Icarus Uprising. At least that still feels connected to the sacred treasures and the bigger identity of the Kid Icarus franchise. Because for me, the biggest issue isn't that Lightning Chariot comes from Uprising specifically. My issue is more that I feel like the sacred treasures are way more important to Pit as a character overall. Those are the things that have always been tied to some of the biggest moments in the series, so when Smash moved away from that completely, it just felt strange to me personally. I also think the Great Sacred Treasure honestly would have looked amazing as a final smash. Just seeing Pit flying around in that giant armor while attacking everybody on the stage would have felt huge and powerful. It would have looked way more connected to those major final battle moments that people remember from Kid Icarus, and that's why I think something like this would have fit Pit much better overall. Right now, we obviously don't know when the next Smash Bros. Game is actually going to happen yet, but if I'm being honest, I think everybody already expects another one eventually. Smash is way too big for Nintendo to stop making completely. The real question is just when they finally decide to reveal the next game and what changes they're going to make once that time comes. And one of the things I'm going to be curious about the most is whether or not certain characters end up getting changes to their movesets or final smashes. Every Smash game usually changes something, so I don't think it's impossible at all that Pit could eventually get a different final smash in the future. Every time I see Pit using Lightning Chariot, I always end up thinking about how much more I prefer the three sacred treasures back in Smash 4. It just felt more fitting for the character to me personally. Even if other people like Lightning Chariot more, I still feel like the 3 sacred treasures represented the overall legacy of Kid Icarus much better. But I'll just wait and see what Nintendo decides to do whenever the next Smash Bros. Game finally happens. Maybe they'll keep Lightning Chariot, or maybe they'll eventually bring back something involving the sacred treasures again. But me personally, I really hope it gets a final Smash that feels more connected to the overall identity of Kid Icarus, because I honestly think that would fit the character way better. And I don't want this to feel like this is like a hate video where I'm just, trashing Lightning Chariot from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I just wasn't that big of a fan of it being Pit's final Smash. It's like taking Super Sonic away from Sonic. Like, why would you do that? It's iconic to the character. It's something that we always see in a lot of these Sonic games whenever we get to these major moments. So it's like, why not just keep the sacred treasures? I understand, when it comes to newer games, if it's like a significant moment that happens in that said game, obviously you want to capitalize on it and Smash, and maybe you want to have it as a final Smash. But I mean, the 3 sacred treasures were a part of Uprising. The Great Sacred Treasure was a part of the final battle against Hades. So at least if it was some kind of sacred treasure, that would have made a lot more sense than what we got. But overall, that's all I have to say here. So I'm curious if there's people out there that feel the exact same way as me, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just like the way things are and you don't really care much. Just let me know your thoughts down below. I'm very curious to hear all your thoughts on this. If you enjoyed the video, of course, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. There's a lot of Smash content on the channel, so definitely subscribe if you want to watch my content for exactly that. And if you want to follow my socials and join my Discord server, all the links to those are in the description. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.